All right, A-League, we doing a quick hoop session. We got Eric in the building, you know what I'm saying? A-League on the road. Hoop session, you already know what's going down. Everybody introduce yourself. Hold on, who we got? All right, we got my boy Dimitri. All right, Dimitri, we got the boy Eric, you know what I'm saying? Eric, say something to the people there. You know what I'm saying?
We about to bust them up a little bit.
You know what it is? Hold on. We got Christian Curry, you know what I'm saying, in the building. Say something to the people.
What up, though?
All right, you already know what it is, man. Detroit in the building, you know what I'm saying? Jeremy Johnson.
What's going on, y'all?
All right, so now you have no other choice, no excuses or any of that. We got it on the camera. A-League on the road, hoop session at Georgia Tech. Thank you to the people who let us in. Let's get it going, man.
It was at this moment he knew.
First game. Say something. Hey, I missed a second shot.
We good, yeah.
First shot was
Airball
cash.
2 of them.
No, I ain't airball.
No,
I
me.
was like,
I'm saying, you good.
Hey, I hit first one cash. Second one, I was out of control. They didn't give me the ball for the rest of the game.
That's fair enough.
I was 50%. I was 50%. I was 50%.
What happened was he was on the road, but after he hit the top of the motherfucking backboard, then we said that's it. That was it.
Exactly. But I was out of control. Second shot. I was feeling myself. I made the first one. I was out of control when I got the ball. I'm open. I'm like, shoot, I might as well put it up. If I miss it, it's still early in the game. He was up 2-0.
J.R. Smith did.
But it's all good. He was up 2-0. I'm the only one that made 50% of the shots. Good game, good matchup, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. My boy was out here, he's taking it home. I told him, I hit first one, I was 50%. I took the second one out of control, we up 2-0. I'm like, my
Y'all tried this though.
but they ain't even give me the ball after that. That's what I'm saying. I went 50%. I went for 2.
You hit the hill. That was
I was talking to everybody, really. I was talking to everybody. I wasn't even guarding you to the end of the game when we was down 15-10 or 15-5, whatever it was. So, I mean, but we gonna get it back next time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so y'all in like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. You know how.
Cam Reddish, man. I'm proud of the Hawks. Yo, A-League, you know, win this thing. I'm happy to be back. I love y'all boys. But Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, the Hawks are on the come up.
How you feel about Bruno? How you feel about Bruno?
How I feel about Bruno?
Yeah.
Yo, he got the sickest name in the team right now.
All right.
I mean, I don't really with Bruno Mars, but
yeah. Bruno Fernando in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bruno Fernando. He slipped. That was
Marta.
A sleeper right there.
That's a sleeper,
Sleeper right there with Bruno. And then how you feel about the rest of the draft? Anybody else?
Bobo, that's it. That's
Bobo. It's Bobo.
Bobo.
For real?
Bobo, baby.
All right.
Win this thing, baby. Africa.
All right. Pick number 44 will be the Rookie of the Year, according to Eric Boa. Wager on.
Why you put that out like that?
Well, I don't think he's gonna play more than 21 games.
He probably won't.
He's not playing more than 20. All right, but I'm gonna let Eric get to it, man. He got to run. A-League episode 102 and a half.
What are we on? Yeah, 102
I think 102 and a half.
Yeah, something like that. Shout out to Keem, man. Hold it down, Louisville.
Yeah, hold it down, Keem.
Yeah,
I think it's 101.5.
Damn, we don't even know, bro.
We don't know. Damn. Well, I mean, we only do one episode a month now, so 101 and a half. But my boy Eric in town from New York, he got to go.
All right,
man.
That'll be easy.
All right, all right now. All right, A-League episode. Give me a second. I'm gonna look it up. Might as well. All right, A-League episode 101.5, 101 and a half. You know, every time we do it in the car, we got to do it, you know, call it a half. It's not an official episode. We had Eric in the building, as you heard earlier. If you could hear that, I don't know if I'm going to throw that in there. We were also hooping. That's another video. So you already know what's going on, man. A lot going on. We tried to squeeze it in. You know, it's a lot going crazy with our schedules right now and everything. But I'm here with my boy Jeremy Johnson. Jeremy, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to be, even though we not back.
Yeah.
But it's good to be kind of back.
Yeah, kind of back. At least we in the building.
We in the building.
We in the car. We in the car, yeah.
We're not really in the building. We in a building inside of a car.
Yeah,
inside of a building.
Right, inside of a building.
Okay.
So we in the building, within the building. As you saw, we just hooped against the Tech guys. We took them boys. We beat them really bad. Y'all can watch those highlights later. But yeah, man, this week was the draft and everything like that. That's the main thing we talking about. The NHL draft, of course. With I don't know who the first pick was. I heard his name a couple times, but you know, hockey gotta they have to do a better job with that. Hockey has the best playoffs, but other than that, man, like you don't do your draft this. I mean, they didn't do it the same night as the NBA, but the same week.
It was like still all the hype from the NBA.
Yeah, all that. Like everybody's still talking about what happened on Thursday night, on Friday night. So maybe the NHL should, like, you know, they base everything else they do in the league around the NBA. So they start the season 1 week earlier. Postseason starts 1 week earlier. Stanley Cup starts 1 week. So maybe like wait a week, like do a week after
like
the NBA.
Everything else y'all do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So let's get into it, man. NBA draft. Zion goes number 1. Hawks trade up, obviously, for DeAndre Hunter. We were all mad about that because they traded like everybody except for 10 for him, and then Cam Reddish falls in their lap because of medical issues for Cam Reddish amongst those other teams. So, how'd you feel about the draft, man?
I was upset at first. I was like, here we go again, same old cookie cutter player we draft and move up, and it really hurt that they moved up for him. I was just like, wow, we watched them, struggle all year, just to be disappointed in the lottery, and then we end up with a guy that I really did not. I'm not gonna say I didn't want him, and I do see the upside, and I do see why he's an attractive player, but I felt like there were guys with higher upsides for a team that needs as much as the Hawks do. Right. That being said, getting Cam Reddish at 10 kind of made up for it, because it now they have two guys that are versatile, and one's a predominantly offensive guy and the other one's a defensive guy, so they kind of can play off of each other now. So I definitely like that, and that's a solid core they have now.
That's exactly what I was thinking with Cam. And Cam is, kind of a swing, a big swing at the fences or whatever. He is a risky pick, where, if he pays off well for the tickets and selling for this franchise, and him alongside with Trey, for both of those guys to have the type of hype that they had coming out of high school, coming out of college, and then, coming to Atlanta, like, that's what Trey was rooting for. He's like, don't let Bo fall. You were joking about that earlier, how he wanted, like, everybody with the little hype and AAU stuff. And so I think that's going to be really interesting to see what Cam can do for Atlanta if he actually pays off. And, it pays off for the Hawks, then they got to steal at 10, I think Klay Thompson went at 11. So, you're looking at a situation like that.
I mean, also, I think that people get caught up too much in, the team with the number 1 pick. Yeah. Just like you just alluded to, the Warriors created what they created without a single number 1 pick.
Like Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, Andrew Bogut. But they signed him, and the core of that team was come through drafting the right guys that fit their system and played as a team, and then they also developed those guys. That's what I see the Hawks doing. I mean, now that they've kind of identified Trae Young as the guy that they want to build around, which, I was a little bit skeptical about that last year, but he showed me last year that he's a guy that you can build around. Now, I'm not saying, okay, well, he needs to be the guy that's going to carry us. No. Well, now we have a core of about, what would you say, 6 or 7 guys that are, they're not superstar, megastar type talents yet, but I mean, they're really good players, and they all, if you think about it, all these pieces fit together like a puzzle, and there's a clear culture in what the Atlanta Hawks want to do. Now, I don't know if Lloyd Pierce will be the guy that, takes them to where they will be when they become fully grown-ups, because, a lot of these kids are 19. I think Trey's 19 or 20. He just turned 20. Yeah. Cam's 19. Hunter's, 23, 22 maybe. I mean, these guys are still really young, so by the time they're really adults, this chemistry they will build over the next couple years, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if we're a playoff threat this year, but then also, if they don't make the playoffs, they're a team that's going to be trending up because now they have the pieces in place.
Yeah, Hawks should definitely make the playoffs next year. I think that's kind of like what they're expected to do.
Yeah.
Actually, like I don't think, if the Hawks are, decent above 500, around 500 next year, I don't think many people will be surprised. I think a lot of people have high expectations for him. Like you saw that graphic that SportsCenter put out right after Reddish fell to 10. Mm-hmm. So and then that was even before Bruno, and Bruno's like a bonus guy. So I think, do you think with the drafting of Bruno that Dedmon doesn't come back?
I don't know. I don't know what that means for Dedmon. And honestly, I don't know what it means, what the Bruno pick means as far as, because he could be a guy that's just down the road. He may not be ready right away like Cam and DeAndre may be. So if it just depends on what the mindset of what the Hawks want right now. Mm-hmm. So, there's a guy like Vucevic that's out there from Orlando. Yeah. I brought this up when me and my cousin Roman, he was a friend of the show. I got to thinking, like, the Hawks have a solid 4 players that they can throw out there at any time. The one spot on the team that doesn't really have a future is the center spot, and Vucevic is only 28. So if you pick him up, that's a team that makes the playoffs and maybe doesn't win a round, but maybe scares somebody, or it builds momentum for the contending days to come. So I don't know what the Bruno pick means. I like the pick. I like the player. I like what he's gonna be, because at the end of the day, if he's nothing else, He's a body that's gonna come down. He's gonna hit you. He's gonna rebound. He's gonna be physical. He's gonna be somebody in the middle of that defense that scares the opposing offense. And that's something the Hawks haven't had in a while since maybe Ivan Johnson, Josh Smith. I mean,
Peril.
Peril.
Peril looked the part.
I mean, that Hawks definitely needed some intimidation down there in the paint, and I like that they got that. And I think DeAndre Hunter brings that as well. He's a little bit of a nasty guy. Yeah. I mean, he's quiet, but he'll hit you. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely like that aspect of his game.
Well, as Brad Rowland pointed out today, if the Hawks stood pat with the current roster they have with Solomon Hill and Allen Crabbe coming into the picture through the trades and stuff, the salary dumps and all that, the Hawks literally only have one more roster spot.
I mean, and what does that say about what happens with Kent Bazemore? Does he opt in or is he opting out?
He opted in, so he's in. He's taking his money.
And like I said, the only player that makes sense and the only player that I would really go after. I mean, you probably need to look at the backup point guard position.
So your guys were the three guys that you had. Guys from last season who are free agents this year. Justin Anderson's restricted. Vince Carter and Dedmon. So you have those three guys. All three of them can't come back. What I'm looking at is Solomon Hill and Crabbe could get bought out.
Yeah, I honestly would like to keep Crabbe. But like I said, it just depends on if they trying to.
Crabbe doesn't even want to play here.
Oh well, you gotta let him go then. But I mean, it just depends on what the Hawks are trying to do. If they still just trying to develop the young talent, aka tank.
Yeah.
Then they can buy those guys out and move on. Now, if they, want to make a run at the playoffs this year, get Solomon Hill, try to get him on board and keep him because that's a solid piece off the bench. Then you bring in a guy like maybe even take a look at a Seth Curry, at some shooting off the bench.
I wanted Seth Curry last year.
I did too. I mean, I think that him and Trey would be a nice little because you could play them together sometimes too. Like Toronto, not Toronto, but Portland. Portland did that song with him and Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum.
Speaking of Portland, how do you feel about what Cleveland did?
What did they do?
Garland.
I don't know. I don't know what this is.
That didn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. I mean,
when Colin Sexton is finally starting to get it going, they get Garland.
Maybe it's just the best player available, which I understand, but it's a little different with the point guard position because point guard position is one of those that either you need the ball or you play off the ball. Yeah. And Sexton's the guy that needs the ball. Garland is the guy that needs the ball. So I don't know what they're thinking there. I mean, maybe they're going to try to play them together.
They're trying to do the Portland thing is what I heard.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've looked, that model hasn't worked. Portland's not going to win the championship.
Well, the thing is, I think CJ's always kind of been a two guard too.
Yeah. So it helps.
A small two guard.
Yeah, he's a small two guard, but these are two guys that are pure point guards. Yeah. So it's it's even a little different, and it would be like trying to put Chris Paul and Darren Williams on the same team.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. If I was a Cleveland fan, I mean, I would understand where they were going, but I would be very confused at the same time because, I mean, I get best player available. They need so much that it really does not matter. So.
Did you see what the Knicks?
Everything.
The Knicks. That
everything. I mean, were they wrong?
That was mad disrespectful though.
I don't think I've ever seen that on ESPN. But
all right, cool. But with Chris Paul, do you know what should Chris Paul do? Is he done? Why didn't we ask Eric this?
Yeah, I hate to tell Eric, but he gonna be mad. But Chris Paul's done. I mean, I don't see any. There's only one. Maybe Milwaukee is the only team where Chris Paul adds value that makes sense.
Is it time to chalk Chris Paul in the same category as Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why we keep giving him a pass. I mean, it's not a mistake that you can say, well, he didn't have help. Okay, well, we use that argument with LeBron all the time, and people just say, well, he's the greatest player ever, and well, he's supposed to win without. Okay, why don't you say the same thing with Chris Paul? Because Chris Paul's a top 5 point guard of all time.
He played with a top 5 player in the league.
Yes, and that's whether or not he ever wins a championship or not, he will go down as a top 5 point guard.
Yeah.
So I mean, and for him to never have been to the NBA Finals is a travesty.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't. I mean, he's done at this point. He's not Chris Paul that we knew, and I don't see him going somewhere and being like of high importance because there's so many good young point guards in this game now, and I don't know where he fits in that cycle anymore.
All right, well, guess that's A-League for the week. A-League 101.5, man. Everybody, go around, all 2 of us,
Just to
say your handles.
Jeremy Johnson, Clark Kent. Oh man, it's been a minute. Clark _Kent _75.
You get your Superman
Put my
on.
Superman on.
You'll RashadMilligan.com. You can follow me on Twitter at I hit the first 3 today.
Y'all
Take
must
care.
thought that I was gone whisper the whole time.
Mistress, diamonds they wear like go fishing. Y'all don't want friends, I want Audis. I don't want cars, I want Rarries. I don't want friends.